In this lesson, we'll be learning about and practicing with histograms, meeting the requirements for TEKS 612 and 613. A histogram is a type of bar graph used to represent numerical data that have been organized into equal intervals. The intervals allow you to see the frequency distribution of the data or how many pieces of data are in each interval. You can see the horizontal number line is where I indicate the width of my intervals. The same size. So this one is 4 wide, 4 wide, 4 wide, 4 wide. And then the height on the vertical number line indicates how many pieces of data in that interval showed up. So this would say there's data between 1 and 4 that shows up twice. Data between 5 and 8 that shows up 4 times. Data between 9 and 12 that only shows up once. And then data between 13 and 16 that shows up 5 times. Notice, in a histogram, I don't know whether the one piece of data that showed up between 9 and 12 is a 9, a 10, an 11, or a 12. I know it's got to be one of those, but it's not specific enough to tell me which one it is. A histogram will allow you to see the frequency distribution of the data. In other words, the intervals that run along the horizontal number line. How many pieces of data are in each interval, the height of each bar that I can track going up the vertical number line. The total pieces of data in the graph. I can count the height of each bar and come up with a total. I can see the peak interval, which bar is the tallest. But I can't say that I know the value of the mode because I won't know the specific details about the data in that interval. I can estimate the range, and I may be able to tell if there may be outliers. I can definitely determine the shape of distribution. However, I won't be able to represent individual pieces of data. I can only represent data in intervals. So I won't be able to tell whether this number or that number or any other number are definitely in the set of data. So since I won't know the individual pieces of data, I also then won't be able to calculate the measures of center and spread. I won't be able to calculate mean, median, and mode because I can't see specific individual pieces of data. The same is true for calculating minimum, maximum, Q1, 2, and 3. So I won't be able to say for sure the range or the IQR. Even though I can't calculate measures of center and measures of spread, nor can I find a 5-number summary, I definitely can describe the shape of distribution. You can see in this histogram that I can find a peak. I see the tallest bar. I can find a cluster of data. I can see gaps. I can also tell in this graph that the data is skewed right. The x-axis shows the text messages in intervals of 10. Keeping in mind whatever interval choice I make, it must be the same interval for every single bar. The y-axis, the vertical number line, uses a scale of 2, indicating the number of students who gave a response. So one student sends somewhere between 1 and 10 texts. We can see that in the graph. We know it's one student by the height of the bar. We don't know exactly how many texts they said that they send. We only know that it's somewhere between 1 and 10. We can calculate the total pieces of data by adding the height of each bar. So one person said 1 to 10, 7 people said 11 to 20, and so on. So I know at the end that we must have spoken to 17 students, or I should say, we know for sure 17 students responded. The most common interval is 11 to 20. That's where the peak is. More students said somewhere between 11 and 20 than any other interval. This is the peak. We can estimate the range, but we can't say for sure that it's definitely the range. We just know that the smallest possible number would be 1, and the largest possible number would be 70. So the possibility is there. We have a range of 69, 70 minus 1. So we can estimate the range as being somewhere around 69. But then again, the smallest number could be 10, and the largest number could be 61. So therefore, our range could be as narrow as 51. So the range must be somewhere between 51 and 69, but we can't say for sure exactly what that value is. The histogram is an excellent method for displaying information where you're concerned primarily about shape of distribution, where you're not concerned about specifics regarding details on measures of center and spread. Let's practice building a histogram. In this example, 20 students answered the question, "What did you score on last week's test?" Draw and label a histogram to represent this data. So I see all of the test scores from the 20 students. I draw a vertical number line and a horizontal number line. Now I have to look at my data and decide what type of intervals I want to build. And I can see almost immediately that some of the test scores are in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100. So I should probably build it so that I go from 91 to 100, 81 to 90, 71 to 80, 61 to 70. 61 to 70 is 10 numbers, 71 to 80 is 10 numbers, 81 to 90 is 10 numbers, and 91 to 100 is 10 numbers. They are all exactly 10 numbers wide. And there are no gaps. So I didn't go to 70 and not start again until 75. Every number is covered between 61 and 100. Now I need to figure out how many. Well, there are 20 altogether, so maybe I should use a scale of 2 going up my vertical number line. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I can label my histogram. These are grades, right? And this is students, the number of students who got that grade. Now let's see, how many do we have between 61 and 70? I see 62, there's 1. I see 70, that's between 61 and 70, so there's 2, 3, I see 3. So I draw to a height of 3, the width of my interval, and shade it in. 3 students, I can see that by the height of the bar, scored somewhere between 61 and 70. I see that by the width of the interval. Now 71 to 80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 80's included, that's 5. 5. So now, beside this bar, up to a height of 5, 71 to 80. 81 to 90. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 81 to 90 is also 5 tall. 91 to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, up the side of this bar to a height of 7. Here's my histogram. Now, If I didn't have my data at the top of the screen and all I had was the graph, would I know for sure exactly what the lowest test grade was? No. I know the interval starts at 61, but I only know 3 students got a grade between 61 and 70. They could have all gotten 70. We don't know. So measures of center and spread won't be able to be determined, but we can still do a few things. We can describe shape. So for example, I see here, this is a peak. I can see there are no gaps. I can see it looks as though the graph skews to the left, right? I also know that I can estimate the range. The smallest or lowest possible test grade was 61. The highest possible test grade was 100, so I could have a range of 39. But it's also possible the lowest test grade was 70, and the highest test grade was 91. So this same graph could also show a range of 21. I know the range can be anywhere between 21 and 39. Let's go ahead and wrap up this lesson on histograms. We talked about building histograms and interpreting histograms. We know a histogram uses a horizontal number line where its intervals of data are indicated, and a vertical number line where the frequency of that data is indicated. In this particular graph, it uses intervals of 10 numbers wide. Your graph could have 2 numbers wide, 15 numbers wide, 25 numbers wide, so long as every interval is exactly the same width and that there's no space or gap between them. So in other words, this one ends at 10, the next one starts at 11, ends at 20, starts at 21, ends at 30, starts at 31. You can have gaps in your graph where there's no data to be reported, but you can have gaps between the marked intervals. You can use whatever scale is required going up your vertical number line to help you to build the bars that indicate how many pieces of data are inside that interval. We know, for example, 1 student answered between 1 and 10. We know 7 students between 11 and 20, 5 between 21 and 30, 3 between 31 and 40, and then finally 1 between 61 and 70. So therefore, we know 1, 8, 13, 16, 17 students provided data. So there is information we can get from a histogram, it's just that it's limited. Notice I also marked on this particular graph all of the markings we can make to describe the shape of distribution. Peaks, clusters, skew, gaps. That's where a histogram is very useful when you want to describe the shape of distribution.